Okay, next question.
My question is about Arena versus Battlegrounds and how ever since the Arena came out, all the really good PvP players have just basically given up on Battlegrounds after they got all their honor rewards. Do you see any type of new rewards coming out for Battlegrounds?
Well, I think there are a few things at work here. Number one, with each new arena season, we actually do introduce new Battleground rewards. So with each new arena season, there are reasons for those high-end players to go back into the Battlegrounds. And also there's the Guild Battlegrounds feature that I talked about earlier. That really, I think, will compel a lot of high-end, PvP guilds to do it, even just for the prestige itself, and then also for the kinds of things you'll be able to get out of it that you won't be able to get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm just wondering if you guys were going to bring back like Warsong Gulch based loot or Rapi Basin specialized loot for PvP instead of just the high warlord stuff that you get in Orgrimmar or...
Not really. We intend to just continue to incorporate that stuff into the honor system as a whole. What we actually found with some of that loot was that it led people to grind one battleground for a really extensive period of time. We'd really rather spread people around over time, make sure that it's more interesting to go to this battleground for a while than that one, than that one, than that one, rather than have people go, well, I want this item and it only comes from this battleground, so I'm just going to grind that battleground until my eyes bleed to get that one item.
Next question. All right, with the introduction of resilience, which I'm very happy to see is going to be affecting dots, but the Paladin Retribution set seems to be missing that stat, except with the set bonus. Is there going to be any done to possibly fix this, or is it standing as is?
Well, the Season 3 Retribution set does have resilience. We don't plan to retroactively change the older sets because the players that bought those sets bought it with the full knowledge that it didn't have resilience, so I don't want to go and change it on them when that's what they paid for. So, but the future Retribution sets will have it.
Hi, I got two quick questions. The first is regarding the rating system. With you guys saying that the items are going to be based on the rating that you have, aren't you worried about this being the old Battleground system all over again? People having to basically play just to keep their rating?
Well, not necessarily, because there are a couple things that work there. Number one, the rating system is not like the old honor system in that it doesn't actually actively reward you for playing more because your losses count against you. That's kind of what didn't work out with the way the old honor system worked with the battlegrounds. His losses didn't in any way count against you, and that was because we didn't know if you were in a PUD or an organized group, etc. But with the PvP arena system, it tends to reward skill a lot more than time investment.
Okay, the other question is basically about the high-level class sets, this class-specific sets. Would it be possible to introduce a token set similar to the raid idea? Because my personal issue is the class sets don't seem to be very good for my particular spec.
Well, with the PvP system, we actually want to build sets for all the different viable specs. So if there's a particular spec you're talking about, we probably want to build a set for it. I'm not sure exactly what spec you're talking about, though.
Mine is Feral Druid, and from what I'm looking at, the item sets that I saw seem more geared toward Restoration and Boomkins.
Well, there is a Feral set in there also. It may just be that it's not statically like it might just have to fix that.
Okay, next question.
You guys talked about the Gurabashi arena, but there's also an arena set up in Ashara. What was that arena going to be?
Right, that was the one we call Ashara Crater, and that was a battleground that was created pretty much at the same time that we were creating Alterac Valley. It was before we really kind of learned the lessons from Alterac Valley. And I've never really felt comfortable going forward with Ashara Crater until we finally feel like, you know what, Alterac Valley really works the way we'd like it to work. Alterac Valley has gone through iteration after iteration of being changed in one way or another. It's never really settled into something that we've been completely happy with. And I don't want to make another Alterac Valley until we're pretty happy with Alterac Valley.
Hi.
I'm a pretty hardcore spacebar jumper in the AV cave. I was wondering if you could install trampolines to better help us.
Sounds like a good time.
No, but seriously, the AV cave is the only place, at least for a Horde player, that a lot of people hide in because there's guards. And I appreciate the anti-FK where you can select people, but I have more fun watching Alliance heads roll instead of clicking on dots on the map. So if you could just take out a cage for people to hide where, like Warsong Gulch, so there's no place for those people to gather and congregate.
Well, Alterac Valley is a very big map, and there are a lot of places to hide if you really want to AFK, so I'm not really confident that just taking out the caves would solve that problem. If I was, then we would have taken out the caves a long time ago, but I really think it's deeper than that.
Next question.
Hey guys, my question was about resilience and whether you guys were comfortable about how required resilience is for PvP, how it is like the #1 stat, and whether you felt comfortable with the amount of items that have resilience being mostly from arenas, so you kind of have to PvP to actually get up in a rating, and it sort of has that element of you have to have PvP from the very start of the season to actually get up to the ratings because you have to get the gear, etc. And I was wondering specifically if you were planning on adding more honor items, you know, as an alternative to getting resilience gear.
Okay, so a lot of questions there at once. Yes, no, yes. So with respect to are we adding more honor items that have resilience? Yes, absolutely. Not only with each season do the existing honor items, like the blue ones, etc., become cheaper, we also kind of take down some items from the arena system. So with Season 3, what you're going to see is the Season 1 arena gear is actually going to become available through the honor system at pretty reasonable prices. So that allows players that just recently got to level 70 to be able to pick that. Also in Suleiman, there are a couple items in there that have resilience that are intended to kind of encourage players to do some other things. So if you can also help patch up the holes by doing that.
I play a Holy Priest in PvP, and I was wondering if there were going to be improvements to how fun it is to heal in PvP.
Well, I don't know. That's kind of hard to answer in terms of whether there's going to be improvements to how fun it is. You might ask, I don't know. That's just directly based on how effective it is. I suppose. I mean, we're always making improvements wherever we can, but I certainly know that Holy Priests are a viable spec in PvP. We see in a lot of the really high-end arena teams for 3-on-3, 5-on-5, etc. So, I'm not entirely sure how to answer that. Yes, it'd be way more fun.
Cool. One of my fondest memories in Warcraft when I first started playing was our guild was doing the PvP quest line out of Western Plaguelands, and we had to go for the Bulwark and raid there. Well, we kind of got bored waiting to the respawn and raided Undercity, which was quite a lot of fun because it was people like, what's going on here? And the Horde came and just absolutely killed us. And then they came after us and actually raided Stormwind on the same server. Is there any plans to encourage that type of behavior for even on a PvE server, but we're fighting it out all the battlegrounds and the arenas and everywhere else, but it'd be cool to have like some global buff of, hey, Horde sacked Stormwind or we sacked Elgamar.
Yeah, definitely integrating some PvP quests that kind of encourage players to go and on occasion go and raid the enemy capital, that sort of thing, are things that we've always been interested in doing. I think right now what we're kind of learning more and more is how to take advantage of the quest system. Like for example, we do have the PvP daily quests that are coming in, and as we figure out how to better integrate those daily quests into the PvP system, I think we'll be able to encourage that sort of behavior without it happening too much. Because one of the concerns we always had before was that if we incentivize going and raiding enemy cities, that as soon as you incentivize it a little bit too much, that's all that happens. We saw that for a short period of time when we first introduced the honor system way back, several years ago, and the cities were constantly being mowed. So, that was kind of not fun on the other extreme. We want to make sure that it's balanced.